Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we have a very special edition of Sarah Says. She's finally uploaded. Hallelujah, everybody. It's a miracle. God help us all, right? So, yeah, she's done a Get Ready With Me, which sounds fantastic because I really want to watch Sarah put a bit of makeup on. Bloody hell. Right, but she is going to answer some assumptions about her and her little clan of people that they have over there in Dubai. And let's have a look to see just how bad it actually was, because bloody hell, it was bad.
You only have children for the money that you can make off of them. Okay, first up, that's been the trolls narrative for literally the last 6 years, when I got pregnant with Jace.
Sarah, it's not a narrative, alright? I mean, right, fair enough, you might not just have them for the money that they can make off YouTube, but you do have them so that you can make money off YouTube, right? So you see where we're coming from here, because if you didn't have the children, you wouldn't have money off YouTube. Therefore, you are having it so that you can have money off YouTube. It may not be the only reason, I don't know. I mean, why else would you have kids? You don't seem to have a maternal bone in your body, so it doesn't look from the outset, from the outside, like you even want to have children. But you know, that's just me. I mean, why does Chris want to have kids? He doesn't even do anything with the ones that he has, and yet he wants to have more and more and more. Is it like a masculine, a manly thing because you know, it shows his manliness that his equipment is working? Is that what it is with Chris? Because you know, I can't see why else he would want to have kids other than the money, obviously.
That was the trolls narrative. And I assure you, any money that we make on YouTube comes nowhere near the amount of money that children cost.
I'm sorry, what the fuck? I'm actually speechless. Oh my god. Right, so the money that your kids make on YouTube comes nowhere near the cost that they cost to survive. It wasn't their decision to come into the world, Sarah. It wasn't. It's up to you as a parent to earn the money to keep the children which you choose to have. Do you see where I'm coming from here, Sarah? Whether that is from, you know, money for work, or whether it's welfare off the state, or whatever it is that you choose to do in your life, it is your choice. And to say that your kids, I can't even comprehend what's going through your mind right now, honestly. So your kids, they don't bring in enough money. Is that what you're saying? To make them survive, to keep themselves? You know, they're not supposed to be the breadwinners of the family. You know, they're not supposed to be the reason that you can do what you want to do.
So, no, that's just a ridiculous false satisfaction. And also, if you think about it, the amount of times I read, why is this even called the Ingham family? Because it's just the Sarah show. Or Sarah's the only one on this channel. Or Sarah never lets anyone else have the camera. It's either a Sarah show or a children's show. Make up your mind.
It can be both, you know, Sarah. You do hog the camera, right? And you clearly think of yourself as the star, you know, the talent and everything, but you also film your kids, and you also film them in inappropriate positions, you also film them in bikinis, you also film them in every which way, right? And your kids also get camera time too, so it can be all of those things at the same time.
It can't be both. My children are obviously on the vlogs because we film what we do, and I'm with my children all the time.
That's weak, Sarah. That is really, really weak. That's not an excuse. Oh yeah, well my kids have to go on the vlogs because, you know, we film what we do, and what we do is our kids. No, you know, just no. You, just because you're with your children doesn't mean you have to film them, right? face the camera in another direction. See if the kids are in the background. Turn it around and face the other way if you're filming, right? That's what most people would do. They'd say, no, I don't want my kids on camera, so let's turn it so that they're not on camera, right? It's very straightforward and very easy. You know, I'm not a whiz with the cameras and everything else, right? Not like Christopher anyway, but you know, even I know that you could do that. You know, just turn it around.
But they're not creating me content. They're not like, there's channels on YouTube that have their children doing skits or challenges, or I don't know, they're creating content for their parents. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not giving any opinion on that whatsoever. I'm just stating a fact. There is channels like that on YouTube. That's not our channel though.
Sarah, are you actually for real, right? You're saying that because your kids, they don't create skits, they don't create the content necessarily, that doesn't mean they're not working, right? So that's just shit. You know it's shit. If it wasn't for your children being on the vlogs, you would not have a business. Period. Nothing. In fact, we'd go as far to say that Chris wouldn't even have his little side hustle thing going, because he wouldn't have the influential status that he has now because his kids gave him that, right? You see where I'm coming from with this? You filmed your kids in all sorts of positions. You filmed your kids in the bathtub, bringing in that type of content. You film your kids in their swimwear, bringing in that type of people wanting to watch that type of content. You filmed your kids in every single which way, right? There is no doubt whatsoever that your children were the sole reason you made a career out of YouTube. You, yourself, boring as shit. Chris, creepy as shit. He is not going to bring in the content. He's not going to bring in the punters, is he? Quite clearly. You know, he doesn't have what it takes. He was bullied. You said yourself, right? He was bullied at school. So, it's not a likeable character, is he? He's not likeable. You know. But there you go. Just my opinion, obviously. You know, we're all entitled to ours. Yours is that pimping out your kids is fine. I tend to disagree.
We're not using our children to create content. We're just creating content ourselves and filming our normal daily life. So, no, that's not why we're having children. Also, YouTube will end one day, and we still have these children. You don't just get to kick them out when YouTube ends. We're not stupid.
Nope, Sarah, you are not stupid. You're the most intelligent pimp in the world, right? Am I right, Sarah? Am I right? So, YouTube will end. That's what you reckon. So what are you going to do when YouTube ends, Sarah? What are you going to do? Because there's no doubt in the world that YouTube is your sole income, right? There's no doubt in the world that you need YouTube in order to survive. There's no doubt that when it ends, you won't have an income source. And if you say, oh yeah, but we got this side hustle, and oh yeah, we got Baby and Me, which doesn't exist anymore, but you know, even if you did, you wouldn't have customers if it wasn't for your channel. You see what I'm saying? So everything revolves around your YouTube channel. If you don't have that, you don't have anything else aside from it.
That's absolutely the most ridiculous accusation that's been going around for years now.
An accusation. Not as bad as the accusation, obviously, that's going around about Chris, right? Am I right? But, it's not... She's so thick. It's hard work. Come on, guys, give me a hand. Give me a hand on this one, please. It's really hard work trying to get through to her. She's so thick. And I think it's not just her, though. It's every family vlogger on the internet, right? They all think the same thing, or they try to they try to convince themselves, I think, that what they're doing is not pimping the kids out. And there's just no two ways about it. It's one thing. It's what the Inghams have done to their kids over the years is one level short of child trafficking, right? Sorry, I said it. That's exactly what it is.
well, it's just assumptions or an accusation that's just ridiculous. You feel guilty for moving away from the UK and leaving behind your sister and Nana. I actually do. There's quite a lot of comments on this actually, a lot of them relating to leaving family behind, and that you don't have a close relationship to your family because you've left them behind and things like that. One, I do actually feel extremely guilty for coming to Dubai and leaving family members behind. I do feel that, especially for my Nana, who doesn't really have anyone in her life anymore since my granddad passed away. But my family are so happy that we moved out here to Dubai, like so happy. My Nana encouraged it. She's been saying for years and years, get out of the UK. I won't say her actual words, which are not appropriate for here, but she's been encouraging me to get out of the UK for years. So she does definitely miss me, and she calls me, and sometimes I do have to say, like, when I call her, she'll say, like, are you on your way up? And I'm like, no, I'm in Dubai. She's like, oh. I do have to, like, keep reminding her, which isn't nice, to be fair. But, yeah, all of my family have been so encouraging and so supportive of me moving here in Dubai. And it does not mean that I'm not close to them in any way, shape or form. I speak daily to my family. And I FaceTime my Nana, not daily, but, like, at least 3-4 times a week we FaceTime. And my sister got her on WhatsApp as well, got her set up on WhatsApp, so that she can message me, which is so lovely, reading her messages.
The thing is, Sarah, that Chris himself was the one that put it out there that you that you didn't want, that you weren't bothered basically about your Nana being left behind. Do you remember when Chris said that just after you arrived in the country? He said something along the lines of, well, we shouldn't have to look after our old people in our lives, you know, they're not our responsibility, you know, we gotta do our own thing, etc, etc. That was exactly what he said. You know, do you remember that? I saw your face at the time though. I saw that you were very like, what the fuck are you saying, Chris? Why?
Right, I'm just gonna let my face dry. I prefer to let my face like naturally dry rather than rubbing it with a towel. But yeah, your children don't socialise. Boring. This is so blooming boring. Gosh. It's such a myth that homeschooling children don't socialise. It's utterly ridiculous. My children do socialise. They have just as good a social life here as they did in the UK.
Okay, right, but I think the accusation really was that they didn't have a social life in the UK. So if you're saying that they have as good as one in Dubai as they did in the UK, that doesn't say much for their social life because they didn't have one in the UK. Now, obviously we don't know everything that they do on a daily basis. Nobody does. I'm not saying that we do, but what we are saying is that we do see a level of your day, you know, that you can put together, you can piece together what has actually happened in the day. And your kids, they don't go anywhere. They don't go to friends' houses. They're only friends, okay, get this everybody, they're only friends that they seem to know, they met on YouTube as iFam, right? They have about 1 or 2 friends between the whole lot of them, which is not really enough. I had like loads of friends just myself on my own, and you know, my brothers had their separate friends, but they seem to share a friend between all of them. It's very weird and very cult like, and also really you shouldn't be making friends with well, let's forget I said that, but your kids, they should not be meeting people off the internet, right, and making friends with them. They shouldn't be doing that whatsoever.
They all have friends and they all do go out and socialise. Now, we've stopped sharing when we've stopped showing the children's friends or sharing anything about them, and we've actually asked the friends not to comment on their social media, not to, if they're new friends, then I've advised the girls not to follow them on social media and ask them not to follow the girls on social media and just do all their messaging through mobile phones.
Okay, but you might want to tell those friends a little bit, for, you know, try and enforce it a little bit, because, you know, certain ones of your kids' friends have been sort of bad-mouthing myself online. You know, it doesn't come across very well. I don't know what to say, you know, I don't like it. I don't think you should too either.
Or their private Snapchat, because unfortunately, as much as you trolls like to complain that we stop our children socialising, you're actually the problem. So you stalk out my children's friends, you then message their friends, you message their friends' parents, and you do everything you can to try and ruin that friendship.
Just to clarify, I have never ever done anything of the sort, right? So if anybody else has done so, it's not on me. I didn't do it. The only friend's parent that I've ever had any contact with is Zoe, and that is Atlanta's mother. And the reason is because she comes to me and tries to troll me, and you know, I talk back to her. You know, that's the only reason. I don't go to her and say, "Oh, by the way, don't you know who Chris is?" She knows who Chris is. You know, everybody is in receipt of the facts surrounding Chris and the rest of them. So what they choose to do with it is up to them, I guess. You know, if you want your teen kids around Chris.
And it's sick. It is genuinely sick. So you know full well they do socialise, you know they've got friends, and you know that you're going to try and do everything you can to try and ruin their friendships. So don't expect, moving forward, to see any of our friends, the girls' friends, Jaycee's friends, Isabel's friends. Just know that they're all living their best lives. They do have friends, they do go out, but you'll not see it or hear of it because you're weird and you try and ruin it for them. I'm not aiming that to the person that sent this assumption. I don't know who you are. But yeah, Isabel has an eating disorder. She's getting smaller by the week. Nope, Isabel does not have an eating disorder.
Right, I'm not going to comment specifically on whether or not she does or does not, because, you know, I don't think anybody should be doing that. But, Sarah, I would like to remind you that it was you yourself who put that out into the world. You yourself told everyone that she did, right? And that is why people are commenting on it. Not because they're making it up or anything like that. It's because you put it into the world and just, you know, and now are complaining of the trolls being trollies, right? But it was you. Don't forget that.
I know she is not getting smaller by the week either. There's not really too much to say on this topic other than Isabel is a healthy weight. She's a healthy weight and she's where she should be for her weight, and she's not got an eating disorder either. But the main thing to talk about here is how we think it's socially acceptable to comment on women's or men's weight.
So I suppose you had a good old word with your lovely husband when he put out the other week about me and my appearance. You had a word, did you? Did you say to him, "Christopher, that was totally wrong. You shouldn't have done that. That was horrible of you." Did you? Or did you actually say, "Hey up, Chrissy boy. We got them good, didn't we, Chrissy boy?" Is that how you speak to to Chris? I reckon it is.
Nothing in life irritates me more than when you comment on my children's appearance.
If only there was a way to stop that, Sarah. If only there was a way that we could put an end to all that negativity towards your children. You know, if only there was something that... Oh, what is it? You know when you like click the delete button and remove them from social media? Is that a thing? Do they have that in Dubai? Or is that like only a UK thing? Because I think that, you know, personally, if somebody was commenting these things about my kids, there's no way in hell I would put them back online. I know you think, oh well, but why should we have to stop doing what we love doing? No, it's why should you have to stop doing what you love doing, right? But at the end of the day, it's your kids' safety and their well-being that is being affected, and yet you're willing to put that at risk because you want to continue to pimp them out.
Like, as a mum, I don't care what you say about me. It's so frustrating, though, that people online think it's okay to talk about teenagers or children's weight or appearance online. Like, what is wrong with society? This stuff's what children used to do bullying in playgrounds, like, you're fat, you're too skinny. It's so wrong. And I don't know why, as a society, we've come to just accept that it's okay for adults to do this now.
But Chris does it. Chris does it. Why are you not throwing shade his way, you know? Tell him to stop doing it.
Like, it's not okay for children to do it in a playground. Why is it okay for adults to do it online? It's utterly ridiculous. I've got people telling me that I need to put my children on diets. My children on diets because they're overweight, they're fat. And I've also got people telling me I need to get Isabel help. Isabel needs to be putting trigger warnings on her pictures because she could trigger someone's eating disorder. Are you people actually insane? Is that where we're at with society? Like, is that actually where we're at? It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Quite a lot of assumptions on how we miss our home in the UK, or we miss the UK, or moving abroad's not everything we wished it would be. So a couple of things just to say on that. Yes, I do miss my home a little bit in the UK. Nowhere near as much as I thought I would miss it. When we go on van trips and things like that, I always crave home after about 5 weeks, and I haven't felt like that here, despite us coming up to almost 3 months. There's not been one time where I've been like, I really want to get home. I do miss the house when I start thinking about it. So when I sit here and I think about the kitchen and all the space and just the loveliness and tranquility that the house has, I do start to miss it. But I love my home here. Like, this house is far exceeded my expectations.
Really? Did you think Dubai was a shithole, did you? It is, to be fair. But you thought it was worse than it is. Jesus. So you're happy with that little hovel that you've got going on there in Dubai? The little, like, Butlins-esque chalet that you've got going, right? But you actually thought it was going to be worse. So that makes it so much worse.
And we've got a really nice routine here as well. And because it is a much smaller house, it's so much easier to manage. Like, it's a lot of work keeping up with that house back in the UK.
Is that why you didn't bother doing it, was it? You left it all to Chris. Because it was too much work, so I thought, I won't bother doing any of it. But now you're on top of the housework now, are you, Sarah? You're on top of that, and you're doing it and everything else. That's good. I like it. I like a supportive queen.
Here in Dubai, this house, we've got a great routine going. It's really easy to just clean all the rooms quickly, tidy everywhere, and I absolutely love it. And moving to Dubai as a whole, like, it's not been what you expected. It actually isn't what I expected. It's far exceeded my expectations, and I'm just loving it. There's also an assumption saying you haven't really moved to Dubai. You're just living there for 12 months and then you're going back to the UK, or you're just living, I can't remember how it was worded, but you're just riding out 12 months. Who knows? Who knows? We have moved to Dubai indefinitely, so we don't have a plan to move back to the UK full time in 12 months or 2 years or 5 or 10. We don't have a plan. We're just living in the moment and enjoying life. And if in 2 years' time we decide, I'm actually really missing the UK, I want to move back home, that's what we'll do.
But have you had a word with Chris about this, Sarah? Has he actually told you the truth? And if he has told you that the house is fine, it's still there, waiting for you to come back to, why would you believe him? I mean, he never tells you the truth anyway. So why would you believe him? I reckon the house is in dire straits at the moment, and he's, they're going to lose it, and Sarah's going to come back and she's going to be in tears. It's going to be so much fun, because Chris has been lying to her, I reckon, anyway. I could be wrong. House could be fine.
And if we're like, I actually really like this split living or residing here in Dubai, then we'll stay in Dubai. Or maybe we'll be like, we should try out another country, I really want to go to this place, then that's what we'll do. We don't have a plan. So for anybody that seems to know our plan before we know the plan, you're wrong. We don't have one. We're just living in the moment. You guys are all affected way more by the hate than you let on. I think I'm actually living proof of that. Also, this piece of hair here is doing my head in. I don't know where it's come from, but it's driving me mad. I actually think I am living proof of that, because I don't feel on a daily basis like any type of hate or negative comments affects me.
Sarah, you and Chris, as influencers, react to hate more than any other influencers that I know, right? You do. The amount of times you've had a rant on and off camera is just ridiculous. The amount of times that Chris calls people clowns online, you know, it doesn't quite strike me that you're not affected by hate, just that you have a way of dealing with it. But, you know, you do you, boo.
In any way, shape or form. It does a little bit, like sometimes I'll read something and it really, especially when it's so unjustified or just a complete and utter lie, it's really difficult for me to just sit back and accept it. I'm just going to use some of this. It is really difficult for me to just sit back and accept it, but a lot of the time I'm like, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all, but it clearly does, because I literally made a life decision based on what other people say. So I had my tubes tied after my C-section in October, and I regretted it so bad. And when I thought properly about it, it's not a decision I made for myself. It's a decision I made for people, other people.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to force you to get your tubes tied. It was just a suggestion, you know. I can't be held accountable for this. You know, I didn't hold, like, you know. I believe it. You made the decision based on facts that, you know, based on your own life. But, you know, you blame everybody else. That's fine, you know.
Not me. So it kind of does affect me, but it doesn't affect me in the respect that I look for it. So the only time I see negative comments, and I know trolls don't believe this because I'm sick of getting comments, I always put a bit of moisturiser on my chest, just in case anyone's wondering what I'm doing. I get comments saying, I'm not even going to mention the site, but I get comments on TikTok especially. I've had like 5 in like the last 2 weeks from the same guy under a different name, but I'm saying, tell me you don't read without telling me, or something like that, insinuating I read hate pages. I would genuinely take a lie detector test, and I would love to do this actually, because I just love to stick 2 up and be like, I told you. I have never ever been on there in the last 6 years, maybe in the last 6 years. I went on there once. Curiosity got the best of me when people first started. In fact, I don't even think it was called the name it's called now. I think it was called something else, starting with a G. I'm also not giving credit to that, so I'm not mentioning it. But I think it was called something else back then when I looked. And I went on there because people were talking about it, and I was like, what is this? Let me go see. And I went on and I almost vomited at the crap that was written on there. It was utterly vile, like disgusting. And it put me in such a low mood because I just felt so unjustified. Like, how can you people say these things? This is a lie. This is just totally made up. This is fabrication. Like, what? Why? What? And it put me in such a low mood that I vowed never ever to go on it again. And then I met up with quite a few YouTubers that were bigger than me, and they all said the same. Like, do not ever go on them because it's not good for your mental health. Why would you want to read that rubbish? And I didn't. And I haven't been on there since. And it's so funny how I keep getting messages, or they keep thinking that I must be on there. Sarah must be on there. She must be, because I keep getting messages saying I am.
Well, Sarah, I don't know if you actually go on Tattle or any other site, but I do happen to know that Chris frequents my page, so I don't know if you do. You know, do you? I mean, you're not mentioning me, obviously, but I've been mentioned in passing on your channel quite a few times, and not in a good light either, isn't it, Sarah? You know, one could get quite disheartened with the things that you say about me, right? Am I right?
Genuinely, I'm not. You don't eat as healthily as you make out on the vlogs. Well, what?
I'm sorry, what? Who the hell's writing these things? They don't eat as healthily as they make out in the vlogs. I mean, They eat crap, right? We can all see it. It's cheese slop. That's the generalised term for Sarah's food.
What you see on the vlogs is what we eat. It's not like I show us making a meal and then I'm like, I'm only joking, kids, you don't really have to eat that. Here, get this instead. You know, whatever you see me making on the vlogs is what we're eating. So I'm not really too sure how I make out we're eating something that we're not. We don't have the healthiest of lives. We eat out way too much. I will hold my hands up and say that. However, my children do eat home-cooked meals and they do eat fruit and veg all the time. So to some people that might be healthy and to some people it might not be because you only like to eat organic or whatever. But we don't make out we do something different on the vlogs to what we actually do. What you see is what we do. Someone also said you make things up for content. I cannot think of one thing in our whole YouTube career that we've made up just for content. So I'd love an example of that. Like, what do you feel like we've made up for content? Because I've got no idea.
Okay, so Sarah, I think what they mean here is that possibly you do things for content. So whereas you wouldn't usually go to the park, you go to the park just for content, for example, right? And that is actually something that happens in family vlogging. I've heard that said many times by other vloggers as well.
Right, foundation. This has been my foundation go-to and the only one I've actually worn for at least like 10 or 15 years now. I don't actually know why I bother here in Dubai with foundation because it just melts off within about 10 minutes, you know. And I also feel like this is getting a bit light for my skin, especially now that I've turned the aircon off and I'm sweating. I'm gonna have to go turn that back on. It's about to fire up, so if this noise is really annoying, I'll turn it back off after like 10 minutes, but I just need a blast because it's got really, really hot in here. Right, there's so many assumptions, just while I'm doing this now, there's so many assumptions about babies. All ranging from the, you want another baby but your girls don't, or the girls really pressuring you to have another baby but you don't want one. Chris wants another baby but Isabel doesn't.
Chris wants another baby but Isabel doesn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want another baby. I wouldn't let. Oh, fucking hell. My mind has just gone straight to the wrong assumption there. Sorry if you can follow my train of thought. I'm sorry about that.
Etc, etc. So I'm just going to say that everyone in my family is indefinite about more babies, except Chris. He would just literally always be happy to have more babies.
Yeah, but why? He's a crap father, right? Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest about this. He is a crap father. He doesn't do anything with the kids that he has. He doesn't spend time with them. He doesn't play with them. He doesn't take Jace out the back, play football with him. He doesn't do anything, right? All he does is procreate and then pimp them out on YouTube. So why does he want more and more kids? Because he doesn't like the ones that he already has.
And it's really weird because I saw that question this morning, that assumption this morning, and I literally had a dream last night that I had a baby, another girl, and like I had her today. So I was like, Aurora just turned 9 months, I've just given birth, what on earth? And then I had this big meltdown in my dream, how am I going to breastfeed both of them on a night time? I'm just never ever going to get sleep. It was so random. And funnily enough, someone else has assumed that Jace wants a brother, or that we want another baby for Jace. And a few days ago, Jace was laid across my legs and I said, Jace, look how much you're turning into such a big boy. You're such a beautiful big boy. You were a beautiful, beautiful little baby and now you're my beautiful big boy. And he said, Mom, we could just get another baby boy. And I said, and how are we going to do that, Jace? And he went, easy. Just get a seed in your belly and then we'll have another boy. I swear, one of the girls have stolen a powder brush. I'll be back. Found it. This is just a really cheap Rimmel bronzer. Yeah, so we're really undecided, to be honest, about more children. Well, I am. I can't decide. And I don't even know if it's possible for us to have more children. I know lots of you guys think, no, not lots, a handful of you guys think that that's all a big lie, made up for a vlog. Oh, that's one thing. That's one thing you guys think I've made up for the vlog. Unless I literally take you into the operating room with me, then I'm lying. So there's nothing I can do to prove it.
Unfortunately, Sarah, you do actually take us into the operating theatre with you, you know, when you have anything done. So we do get to see what's going on, yeah, including the birth of your various children.
And to be honest, I don't really care to try and prove it to anybody, because you guys don't mean anything to me that say I'm lying about that, and I don't really mean anything to you, so why you bothered, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. So I don't even know if it's possible for me to have children. And oh no. Why has that done that? Does anyone else hate it when they buy something and it just does that? So, oh, that's so annoying. So for blusher, I either use this Kiko one that I absolutely love, but obviously it's broke now, or I use this MAC one that I got in the airport on the way out here, and the Benefit highlight. I think I'm going to use a Kiko one because I do love this one at the minute. It's so nice. That's so annoying though that it's done that. I forgot what I was saying now. So yeah, we don't know if it's even possible for us to have children if my tubes have been tied. And I don't want to, when I first had the C-section, my hormones were so crazy. I've never experienced anything like that before. But we were going for the reversal for the tubal ligation. We were going to go for the reversal to have it reversed. That's how strongly I felt, like I was desperate to change it. And I kind of don't feel that desperate to change it anymore. I feel like partly it was my hormones just going crazy on me. But but when I think that I'm done having babies, that still makes me feel sad. Camera's rolling. Let me just move you guys. There we go. So I don't feel like I'm in a situation right now where I need to desperately go and have a reversal done. If the tubal ligation was a fail, which we still don't know because I'm not comfortable about having that dye test. I've had some horror stories about it, and I don't know if I'm going to do that. I need to speak to my doctor some more about that. I'm not sure. But part of me is like, well, if we were meant to have another child, then we will be able to. I just can't decide what to do. I don't know. Personally, I'm saying I'm not comfortable with having the dye test. It's mainly Chris is like worrying about me having the dye test. I'm a bit uncomfortable as well, but I'm the sort of person, I'm like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable doing it, but I need to know. Like, I need to know. And Chris is like, yeah, but why put your body through that? Why do you need to know? If it's meant to happen, then it'll happen, and then you'll know, and you'll have your answer. But then again, part of me is also like, yeah, but I need to prove that I'm not lying, which is stupid, because like I just said, like, part of me feels like I don't need to prove it. Like, why do I need to prove it? And then it all rolls back to me just feeling completely unjustified. Sorry, I keep messing about with the camera. Completely unjustified and made out to be lying about something that I know I'm not lying about. And the only way I can prove I'm not, and I don't even know why I feel like I need to prove it. Because why do I need to prove it? It's not going to make a difference. But even if I did prove it, you'd still say I was lying about something else. So it just seems counterproductive, but it's just the way I am. Right, browse aids. I can't believe this has discontinued. And when I say mine's ruined, like, I mean it's ruined. And I did not do this. I like the lightest one and it's all gone. So and then the next one down's completely ruined and manky, so I can't use that. So I'm having to use the darkest one, and I don't like the darkest one. It's too dark for my face. But I'm just gonna go slow and hopefully it'll be okay. You're going to sell your vans or your caravan? No, we're not. We're not actually going to sell them. We will be doing van trips and things like that. Obviously, we're just getting ourselves settled here in Dubai at the minute, but we will still be keeping our vehicles and our home in the UK for the next few years at least.
Well, you might want to have a word with your husband to make sure that that is definitely true, because as I said earlier, he's not the most truthful person in the world, and if you are basing your future on his opinion, then you know you're only going to lead you to disappointment, I feel.
So that we can do van trips and we can go back to the UK. Next assumption is, I'm just going to roll a couple of assumptions into one now because they kind of all require the same answer. So the first assumption is, Isla is left out. She's always been left out. Even when she was the youngest, she was left out, and she still feels left out now as the middle child. And then Esme is the favourite. and there's also Jace is the favourite. There's quite a few assumptions saying Esme was the favourite, and quite a few saying Jace is the favourite. Which I actually find so funny, because, and Isla's left out. A few years ago, oh, and there's one saying Isabel's your least loved child. So, I don't need to say that I love all of my children the same. It's just stupid, like it's ridiculous. But one thing I will say is that, number one, in any single family vlogger I've ever known online that are a family with one set, so they've got like multiple boys and one girl, or multiple girls and one boy, it doesn't matter which way it goes. Everyone always says that the one that's just a single sex is the favoured one. So if it's girls and just one boy, or if it's boy and one girl, they're the favourite. You love them more. Like it gets said about every single family I know online. Every single one. So it's no surprise that you say that. It's ridiculous, but it's not really a surprise. And then the next one is that Esme is the favourite. Well, I find that so funny because a few years ago, Esme was the one that was left out. I feel so sorry for Esme as the middle child. She's always left out. It's so disgusting how Sarah favours Isla because she's the little cute one, and Isabel because she's the old one, and poor Esme in the middle. She's middle child syndrome. She's left out. Poor Esme. I know, it's Esme's such a brat. She's loved the most. She's favoured. And then the same goes for Isabel. Isabel was always the favourite. You favourite Isabel over your other two daughters. You should be ashamed of yourself. Esme and Isla matter just as much as Isabel. And now it's Isabel's so left out. Poor Isabel. You guys literally just change your mind like the weather. It's so funny. Open the door because it's actually boiling. It's so hot in here. You never went back to get your girls' braces. That's true, we didn't. We were advised by the dentist when we told him of our plans to move to Dubai that it wasn't wise, because with braces, I think it was every 6 weeks, he said we'd have to go back and have them tightened or changed. So Esme wanted Invisaligns, Isla wasn't bothered, and she wanted the other ones so that she could choose her coloured, whatever colour thing you change on them. She wanted those ones. And they'd have to go back every 6 weeks, which we wouldn't be able to do whilst we're living here in Dubai. So we just made the decision that it would be easy once we got here, and once we got settled, and once all of our healthcare and everything was set up, once we got our Emirates IDs, blah, 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 that we just do the braces from here in Dubai. Isabel wishes you didn't have so many children. Actually, you're wrong. Isabel is more open to a large family than anyone else in our family. And Isabel always said when she was like a young girl growing up, oh, I want 2 children. I think most, to be fair, I think a lot of children grow up saying I want 2 children. But as Isabel's got older, she's decided she wants a minimum of 4, but she'd ideally like 6. So if Isabel didn't like large families, I don't usually put this in the corner of my eyes, but I've done it like the last 2 days, simply because I'm copying Esme. Because her eyes always look so bright and nice, and mine always look so dark after about an hour. If Isabel didn't like large families and having so many children, then I 100% guarantee you she would be in the mindset of, I'm having a small family when I grow up, and she's not. So that is definitely a false assumption. Guys, I'm so happy I get to answer this one. I'm editing this video, I bet Chris would just be like, no, don't answer that, don't answer it. He's not a bit bothered that I am answering it. But Chris, there's like three questions around this, or assumptions. Chris's ginger and he's so ashamed. Why does Chris not embrace his ginger hair like Esme does? Or Chris is embarrassed to be a ginger and he shouldn't be, he should be embracing it instead of dyeing it. Okay, there's your 3 assumptions. So I'm going to answer this in a couple of ways. The first one being, just because we choose to share certain parts of our lives online for entertainment.
Wow, you have a sixth sense of entertainment, Sarah. You know, the things that I've seen that your kids have done, you know, the injuries, the sickness, the illnesses and everything else, and it's just for entertainment purposes. There you go, guys. You know that they have their kids to be sick on camera just for entertainment, but that is sick, don't you think?
That doesn't mean that every single one of you guys watching this are owed something from us. Like, we don't owe you an explanation for every single aspect of our lives. We don't owe you our insecurities. We don't owe you anything other than a thank you so much for watching our vlogs. We don't owe you more than that. And it blows my mind that so many of you expect an explanation or an answer or a big spiel about every single aspect of our lives. You didn't tell us about this. Why are you not telling us about that? It's none of your business. Like, we do have a private life as well, and there are things in our lives that we prefer to keep private.
Do you? Oh dear, oh dear. This opens up so many cans of worms. Sarah, so you have a private life. You get to choose whether or not certain things are private. But what about your children? Do they not deserve the same respect? I mean, did Jace, for example, agree in writing before he was born that he would be born on camera and become the star of the show? Did Mila agree that she would have her entire hip journey filmed for thousands of people's entertainment? Don't forget, right? You know, all those sort of things. And yet you decide, well, Chris doesn't want to reveal about his ginger hair on camera. We have some privacy as well, don't we? Look now, allow us a bit of privacy.
And that's our choice and our right as human beings. Just because we choose to, and I know the whole way, you shouldn't share things online if you don't want people saying this or that.
Hang on, you just said it's our right as human beings for privacy. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. But the same goes for your children. They have the right too. And yet you don't give them the right. And don't come back with me, oh, well, we ask them if they want to be on camera. They enjoy it on camera. Jace didn't agree to be on camera before he was born, did he? Unless I see the signed document that he signed in your womb. I don't think I'm ever going to believe that he agreed to that. All right?
Or maybe you should just stop expecting people to give you something just because they share online. Maybe we should change our mindset to that. That's the first thing. Number two, Chris should be embracing this and he should be doing that. Chris has been very open in the past, and I know he has, about how he was bullied severely in school for the colour of his hair. So you have absolutely no right to sit there and tell Chris what he should be doing with his own insecurities.
Okay, so I think it's more due to the fact that Chris, he has a ginger child, right? Well, two, in fact. Now, if you're going to say to them, well, embrace your gingerness, right? But at the same time, you're hiding your own, that doesn't quite, come across in the right way. Also, if he's expecting his kids to be exposed to the world, all their insecurities are exposed to the world, but you won't expose your own. Again, it comes across as very hypocritical and just not nice, basically.
Like, you have no right to do that. If Esme is embracing her ginger hair, that's because we've brought her up correctly. That's because we've protected her. That's because we've shown her that she's an amazing child and her hair's beautiful and she should never be ashamed of it. That's our doing.
Why do I think that is a veiled dig at Jane, right? Chris was not brought up to be ashamed of himself, or was he? Jane, you let Chris down badly, right? But Esme, she's been brought up because Sarah has brought her up to be not ashamed of herself.
Okay, she was never bullied in school because I don't know why, times have changed, or I don't know what the reason is.
Was she not? She wasn't bullied. I'm sorry. Not that I'm suggesting that she should be bullied in school, right? But why did Chris do a whole 20-minute rant about Esme being bullied in school for the colour of her hair? I'm sorry, was Chris just telling a little bit of a porky, was he? Was that what it was?
But it's not a reflection on just the child. I mean, it is in part, but not only that, it's also a reflection on the parents and how the child's been brought up.
Yes, it's definitely a dig at Jane. Jane, you didn't bring Chris up very well, did you? You brought him up to be a bit of a... I don't want to say the G words, but you know what I mean, alright? you know. If only you'd brought him up not to be ashamed of his hair colour, now that might have been a different prospect altogether. We might be talking about a different situation now.
And the situation and the surroundings that they've been brought up in. If Esme didn't like her hair and she wanted to dye it, that's not a reflection on her as a person. That doesn't mean she needs to be slated for that. Just the same way as if I've got brown hair and I dye it blonde. Like, I don't understand why just because it's ginger there's this big thing, like, you need to be proud. If Chris's hair was white, like Jace's, blonde, like Jace's, and he dyed it brown, people wouldn't even question it. They wouldn't even question why he does that.
No, but it would depend on the reason why he did it, right? Say, for example, if he did it because he was ashamed of his hair colour, then yeah, people would question it. I think the whole thing is overemphasized as well by the fact that he wears his beanie all the time. He's clearly got issues with his head, his hair, and, you know, due to Chris not being of the liked persuasion, you know, it's an easy target. You know, I'm not saying that he should have got bullied at school, clearly, but again, we don't know what his character was like at school, for example, right? He might have been a twat. That might be why he got bullied at school, right? So you see what I'm saying? I mean, he's a twat now. So people pick on the thing that he's insecure about because he's a twat and they want to get at the twat, right? And at school, he might have been the same. Probably was. Let's face it. He's not the most likable character.
Or if he had brown hair and he'd put blonde highlights in, nobody would say anything. Nobody would question why he's doing that. But because he's got ginger hair and he dyes it brown, then suddenly it's a big deal. Suddenly it's because he's ashamed, and suddenly it's because this and that. Like, it makes no sense why there's still this stigma around people having ginger hair. The third thing, Chris's hair's actually not ginger like Esme's. I love Chris's natural hair colour. It's probably my favourite feature of Chris's, if it's one of my favourite, if not the favourite. I love it. His natural hair colour is so nice, like, genuinely gorgeous. I've spent 17 years begging him to not dye his hair, but at the end of the day, it's his hair, and it's his happiness, and it's his security and how he feels in himself. And it's not right for me to be like, really don't want you to do that, or it's not your right. Like, I'm his wife and I don't even have a right to tell him what he should be doing with his hair. So why so many of you guys feel like you've got a right to tell him when he can and can't dye his hair blows my mind. As Chris's wedding gift to me, or one of his wedding gifts to me was to grow his hair out, so grow all of the black / dark brown out of his hair, because he knew how much I loved his natural colour. And for his wedding gift to me, he grew it all out, and on our wedding day, that is probably the only time in 17 years that he had full natural colour hair. No dye in it, nothing, absolutely no dye. I'm going to pop a wedding picture, I'm going to get a wedding picture and pop it up. I'm going to show you his natural hair colour. It's gorgeous. It's a mixture between ginger and brown, and it's beautiful. But that's not even the issue here. The issue is people thinking they can tell other people whether they can or can't dye their hair, or making out like they're some sort of bad person, or giving bad impressions to their children because they dye their ginger hair. But different if it was me with blonde hair that dyed it brown, that'd be okay. Do my mascara, but I'm getting way too excited about this. So this is the mascara I use it all the time. I always use Maybelline. I've tried other brands, like I use a YSL one, and I love the smell of it, but nothing compares to these. I love them. I don't know if my old one's still in here actually. It's like a pink, oh it is actually, it's here. It's like a pink, this one, Lash Sensation, so good. Love it, I 100% recommend these. I don't know which one I like best actually, probably this one. But I do really like this one as well. You keep your children up late so that they lay in and you get to sleep in late too. That's so funny. So actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's not actually true. It's not true as in we get to lay in. But yeah, I don't keep them up late purposely. It just, our lifestyle is later than most people. We don't have a time schedule like most people do with work and school. So our days drag on later than what a lot of other families do, and that's what suits us, suits our lifestyle. It's fine. Our children don't have to be up early in the morning. I don't have to get them ready for school.
Yes, you do. Just because they don't go to a physical school doesn't mean you don't have to get them up for school. They homeschool, right? Don't they? Don't they homeschool? Or did I get that wrong? Did you not mention that they homeschool or something?
There's nowhere they need to be most days. So I don't need them in bed for a set time. Like I did my younger three. When my younger three were in school, they were in bed for 8:30 every night. And they were asleep straight away. No messing about, straight asleep. And that's because they had to get up for school the next day. Our life's not like that right now, so there's no reason for me to have my children in bed by 8:30. They still get the 12 hours, the younger ones. They still get pretty much between 10 and 12 hours every single night, so they're sleeping really well and they're getting the sleep that they need. But I definitely don't do it so that I can sleep in, because you know what? I don't sleep in. I get up and I do my chores. Chris does his work, he finishes off the vlog. What's going on with my eyelashes today? It's not good. His jobs and things done that he needs to do for the day. He finishes editing the vlog if he's not managed to finish it the night before. And it's like one of my favourite times of day actually. I do laundry. If I was at home in the UK, I used to prepare dinner sometimes in the slow cooker. I'd get the things out that we were going to do for schooling and learning that day. But aside from that, I just want to say, why would that be, like, that wouldn't be a negative thing anyway. If Aurora, I've been really thankful for this situation. If, for example, Aurora's been up all night, or if I've had no sleep during the night, or Aurora's been coughing, like Aurora's had a cough it's gone now, but she did have a cough like the last week. And I got to sleep until like 8:30. I think one day I actually slept until 9:30, and I was like, I'm so glad that I get to do that. But my point is that it is no different to you putting your children to bed early on a night so that you can chill out. Like, it's no different to that. You put your bed early on a night so you can chill out. I don't do that. My children go to bed pretty much when I go to bed. Jason really do go up to their rooms a bit earlier to just wind down. But, you know, my children are with me pretty much until I go to sleep on a night time. So I'm constantly in work mode. I'm constantly being mum until I go to sleep. And so I get up early in the morning to get that night time that you get. So you get the night time to chill out and do your own thing. I get the morning to chill out and do my own thing. And that's not a negative thing. I'm not too sure why that would be classed as being a negative. It's literally no different to every other parent. I just do it the opposite way around. Your children don't get any payment for being in your videos. Well, number one, they don't get a payment as in like a wage, because they're children.
Oh, that's how it works, is it? Because they're children, they don't get paid. They don't get a wage because they're children. Oh, you should have said, you know, all those like kids' TV shows and stuff like that. They shouldn't have paid those. They should have got away with not paying the kids because they don't deserve it because they are kids, right?
But they do have savings accounts, for a start, that we have contributed to since they were born, actually. So they've always had savings accounts, all of them, that are set up the second they're born. And then we've always put something in there. Now, granted, there's been times throughout our lives where we could only put £5 in. There's been months where we've put nothing in. But since we started YouTube and we've been more fortunate, we've been able to put more in their savings accounts than we have done previously.
No, but Sarah, the point is that YouTube is a job, right? Your kids are working, and just because they're working, it doesn't mean to say you put more in their savings account. You need to give them an actual wage or a set amount based on the amount of time that they're working on camera.
But not only that, but the life that the children are living is payment from YouTube videos.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, so, yeah, you're fortunate kids don't you don't need money, alright? We're paying you in Dubai real estate experiences. I don't know, fucking the experience of living in Dubai is payment enough. You don't deserve any further payment, so stop asking for a wage, because we are giving you a Dubai shopping mall experience today.
So, like, if they want, like, I don't know, where they get more, like, if there's something that they've been really wanting, that, you know, we maybe wouldn't, oh my gosh, my camera's slipping and it's so annoying. If we maybe weren't in a position to be able to buy them some things previously, now that we're doing YouTube, we can buy them it, and that's like, and that in a way is treating, it's hard for me to say it's got no trolls, I'll literally twist what I'm saying. But of course I get payment. This whole life's payment. The fact that we're living in Dubai is payment.
That's really not how payment works, is it, Sarah? It's not how it works. I'm sure you know that. Surely to goodness. But it also emphasises the fact that you are using this whole lifestyle as a, look kids, if you don't do YouTube, this is what we can take away from you. And that's not really fair, is it? Because that's kind of bribery. When you say to us that, oh, the kids, they love YouTube, they don't want to take YouTube away, you know, you're saying that you will take this away from them if, you know, they don't perform for the camera, because you need that money in order to pay for this lifestyle, right?
They get to live this life that they are so lucky to be able to live, like so incredibly lucky to live because of YouTube. Because as a family, we do YouTube.
You don't do it as a family though, Sarah. Just because it says the Ingham family, right? It's also the Ingham Family Limited, right? It's a business. Your entire family, you've turned into a business. Your kids are included on tax returns. How sad do you think that is? Sick and sad, I think. I think, yeah. Sick and sad.
That is, you know, that's payment. Do we sit down every single month and say, there's your YouTube earnings, guys? No, we don't. They're children and I wouldn't want them wasting their money.
Oh, so you decide what they want to spend their money on for them, do you? I can't see that that going down too well in Hollywood, right? With the actors, the child actors. You know, I think there's such a thing as like trying to protect kids and their earnings, their wages and stuff. At the very least, it should be going into a separate bank account that parents can't touch. But, you know, it's just my opinion. Sarah, you should look into, like, child actors, because that is exactly how your kids are. They are like child actors. They just don't have the protection of child actors.
All of the money that we make, a portion of it goes, you're slipping again, you're about to fall off, into their savings account, because we feel that's what's right to do as their parents, rather than pay them money. Pocket money we kind of don't really do. We do sporadically just give them money, like if they want something or they're going somewhere, or especially Isla, because Isabel and Esme earn their own money. So Esme earns her own money from her own videos, and Isabel earns her own money from her videos and a few of the things that she does on the side. But Isla can't do that because she's too young. So, and the younger ones not bothered about earning money because they're too young. So Isla gets money from me and Chris, like for example on shopping days, when they go out shopping, we'll always treat the girls to something. So even if they've got their own money, we always end up buying them stuff when we go out. But Isla, obviously, she's not earning any money. So on a monthly basis, when Isabel and Esme get paid, Isla doesn't get paid. So me and Chris do give Isla more in that respect. Chris is the only one in your family that does the cleaning. You're right, he actually is. No, he's not the only one that does the cleaning. The girls have after dinner chores, so every night after dinner, one cleans the table, one cleans the sides, one loads the dishwasher. That's their responsibility every day after dinner. Chris does the floors, he does all the hoovering, all of the polishing, all of the like cleaning down the surfaces. He always does it after the girls have done it as well. I'm trying to think what else Chris just does solely. Washing up, I guess if there's like washing up to do during the day, Chris will do that, that's like his thing. And then mine's like laundry. So Chris is so bad at laundry, like so bad. He mixes clothes up, he puts darks in with lights and makes them grey. He puts Isabel's clothes in my wardrobe, he puts Isla's clothes in Mila's wardrobe. He's not good at that. So I do all the laundry, so I'll like get washing done, I'll fold them and put them all away. Ironing, if we're obviously doing ironing now that we're here in Dubai, I've taken on. So yeah, Chris does do the majority of the cleaning, but that's not a bad thing. I do cooking, you know? I do the cooking when we make meals here. I do the learning with Jason Mila. I do the laundry. I think people always say like, Chris does all the cleaning and Sarah does nothing. That's not actually the case. Chris does do the cleaning, yeah. But it's not that I don't do anything. Guys, this next one peeves me right off, because it's literally been said to me for the last 5 years, 5.5 years, and it drives me mad. What are you guys running from? It's not normal that you just up and leave for Dubai one day, and it costs a lot of money to do so. Number one, we didn't just up and leave for Dubai one day. This was planned for almost a year, not quite a year, 9 months, something, I don't even know how long, but months. This was something we'd planned for months. This isn't something we just got up one day and we're like, oh no, the police are knocking on the door, we need to run. Like, get a grip. Goodness sake. Why do you people think we're running from something? Like, it's so weird. We're going back to the UK. If we were running, do you not think we'd be leaving and never coming back? I swear to God, it happens every single year. So every single year, we go on a van trip. We're running. What are you running from? What do you mean? I'm exploring the flipping the world with my children. I'm going on holiday. Why does that mean we're running from something? It's insane. Oh my, it drives me. But it's one thing that just really annoys me. You know when people say like trolls must get to you sometimes? It never gets to me when they're saying things like, you're fat, you're ugly, you can't cook. Like, things like that don't bother me at all. It's when they say things like, you're clearly running from something. I've seen YouTube channels do videos on us that we must be running. Running from what? Are you people the bogeyman? The police? Who are we running from? We've not committed any crime.
Well, not committed any crime, have you, Sarah? Did you happen to watch my video the other day? I expressly showed exactly what crimes have been committed, you know, and it's what you choose to do from here which is important, you know. Run or stay, or just, you know, stick your head in the sand as you usually do, Sarah, because of course Chris continues to fuck up your life for you on a daily basis. But you're glad you married him now. He's such a lovely man, isn't he, Christopher?
Who are we physically running from? It's so weird. And if we were running, do you not think we'd stay running? Or is this just like a temporary thing? Because we've been running for the last 5 years, but yet we still spend months and months on end in the UK. So do these people that are coming for us only come during certain months of the year? It makes no sense. It's so stupid. And yet it does cost a lot to move to Dubai, way more than I ever imagined. It ended up costing us almost, I don't know, £20,000 to move here in the end. And it's way more money than I expected to move. But hey, we're skint, so how did we afford that? Maybe that's what we're running from, because we're so skint that we had to like steal this money to move here to Dubai. Another one, you're poor, you don't actually earn that much money. Okay, well, number one, I've never said we're rich. You'll never hear I'm rich coming out of my mouth. I'm speaking for myself here, no one else.
I'm sorry, I can't. I respect your honesty, honestly. You do realise that your lovely husband has been running his mouth all over the internet saying how incredibly rich you are, how you can afford £1 million mansions, how you can afford £1 million penthouses, how you've got £10,000 a day coming in, how you have millions in the bank account. Do you realise that he's actually saying these things, and you sit there and go, yeah, we're not actually rich. You'll never hear me telling anybody that we're rich. You don't need to tell anybody. Your husband has already done that. And you just shut right up over it. That's so funny.
Don't know what lip gloss to use. I keep making the mistake of putting my lip gloss in my bag to take out with me when we go for a day out. And then when I come to get ready, I've literally got nothing left here to use. It's not ideal. What's this one? Oh my gosh, I got this one from Shein. It's like a glow oil. I'm going to use this actually just to show you guys what it's like. This is matte, and I don't fancy a matte. I'm going to put this one on just to show you guys what it's like. It's like a, what's it called? Like a fake Dior one. It's like a fake Dior one. But I will say, I've just remembered, I am rich in what I've got. Like my family, my health, my surroundings. It blows my mind though that people say like we're skint and we're running from having to do this and we're desperate when we are I don't think people understand, like 1 minute we're skint, 1 minute. Somebody even commented to Chris the other day, You guys must only be earning about 10k from YouTube, and that's barely going to keep you afloat, shared by all of your family. Number one, we earn at least double that from YouTube. But two, when did £10,000 become not a lot of money to earn per month? Are you insane?
I don't know how to address this to one as intellectually shit as sorry. Right, okay, so 10k these days a month is meh. Yeah, it's okay, it's not bad, but if you factor in the amount of outgoings that you have, you know, you've got your big house, the brick house back in the UK, you know, that is a huge expenditure, you know, with the mortgage and everything. You took on an irregular lender, shall we say, not a high street lender, so higher interest rates than that. You've got all the expenses surrounding that house. You've got all the vehicles and everything. You've got the amount of kids that you have, right? There's a lot of expenses that you do have, so it's all subjective when it comes to earnings as to how much is a good amount, right? 10k probably doesn't touch the surface with the amount of expenditure that you have, but you know, and also it's not a great amount. I mean, the people, right? I'm not going to speculate on what a normal amount actually is, because different people have different amounts, but you know, I think Sarah's just a little bit deluded, just a little bit.
Are you crazy? Number two, look at this, it's really nice. Our outgoings per month, is it not evident that we're not skin, or that we're not desperate? Like, we're living in Dubai in a home that we're paying for. I don't even know what the rent is on this house. Like £2,500 in English money a month, something along those lines. We pay almost £2,000 a month for a car hire. We're also paying for our home back in the UK, as well as all the bills and everything else. Like, what are we running from? If we were skin and we had no money, would we be moving to Dubai and paying all of this extra money out? And I'm gonna get hate for saying this. I'm gonna get hate. You're gonna be commenting saying you're boasting. You shouldn't be letting people know how much money you earn. Why are you bragging about you've got this money? Literally, can't win. You cannot win. People hate you talking about money, but they hate when you don't talk about money. Like, there's no win. There's no win. I actually really like this. I was gonna use the pink one. I'm gonna leave this one on. It's really nice. Like an orangey colour. I like it. One that I really wanted to answer. I also really recommend these fat oils for anybody that likes a gloss, because these are gorgeous and the applicator on them is so nice. Like, such a big fat chunky applicator. I love them. Anyway, another thing that another assumption that I got was that we moved to Dubai in a desperate attempt to revamp our channel. So I'm just gonna say now, number one, our channel's been failing in your eyes for the last 5 years, but 5 years later we're still here and we're still getting the same views, which is between 20-30k every single day.
Yeah, but that's not what you were getting 5 years ago, though. That's the part that I don't get, right? When you started YouTube, you were getting like hundreds of thousands of views every single day. So there's no way you're getting the same amount of views as you were back then. I don't get her logic, but then again, it's Sarah Ingham logic.
If you think that's something we should be ashamed of, then you are wrong. Like, you're so wrong. I think some people underestimate how much 30,000 people coming back to your channel daily, every day, every single day, to watch your content is. Like, it's a huge amount. We have learned over the last 5 years that completely debunks the whole you've moved to Dubai just to revamp your channel, is that when we travel, our views drop. Okay, our audience is not a travel audience. Our audience, the majority, don't get me wrong, I know we do have a lot of amazing families that are just like us. You travel the world, you homeschool, your values are exactly the same as ours, I know that. But on the whole, we have a lot of beautiful British families that just enjoy homely, wholesome content. You like me just going to Morrison's, you like a Aldi grocery haul, you like a B&M shop, you like home days where we don't really do, I know that. We do have that. That's the large majority of our audience. When we travel, there's always a real buzz at the start of the travel. So like when we go on van trips, everyone's really excited at the start. And then after a couple of weeks, it kind of tapers off and our views drop. And then they go up again when we go back home. We're not delusional. We know that's what's going to happen when we come here to Dubai. We didn't move here to Dubai to revamp our channel. Trust me, we know views on here will be lower during certain times, and then they'll rise when we go home, and then they'll taper off again. That's just YouTube. And I will also say that unless you're willing to put in some mega hard work and dedication into following trends, keeping up with the latest trendy video, challenge, prank, your channel is just gonna stay the same. And that's where we're at. We aren't interested in revamping our channel. We're not interested in following trends. We film what we do. And
Sarah, you follow trends all the time. You do not have an original bone in your body. It's so evident. But aside from that, yeah, your channel is a bit like stale. You're quite right in that. It's gone very stale. Nobody wants to watch family vlogging anymore, because family vlogging is on its way out because of things like me, people like me, raising awareness about the dangers of family vlogging. When you started out, people weren't as aware, and they were more just, they would just go along with it. But now they know, and they don't want to watch people like you exploiting their kids for money. They don't want to watch that. They don't want to watch the dangers that you put your kids in every day. And now that's where your channel is left. Very much stale, and it's not going to grow any further, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and then eventually, as you said earlier, YouTube will die out.
And that's it. We absolutely have not moved to Dubai to try and gain more views. If anything, we knew that it would reduce our views, because when we travel, that's what happens. We're not stupid. We didn't move to Dubai for anything other than ourselves. We've never done anything in our life, apart from me being an idiot and like going through a whole procedure. But we don't do things in our life generally to please other people. We do what we want to do, and we just film it. And if you want to watch, that's great, you can watch. And if you don't want to watch, that's fine, don't watch. But we're not going to change our content. Like, if you guys not learned, like after the last 5 years, like it's evident we're not just going to suddenly change all of our content to suit other people, because the fact is that you can never please everyone. It doesn't matter what we do, there's always going to be someone that doesn't enjoy that content. There's always going to be someone that's going to moan about it. There's always going to be someone that's going to slate it or say we're wrong. You can never win with everyone. You guys are always so calm and never shout at your children. What? Guys, I'm such an idiot that I actually leave clips accidentally in vlogs of me shouting at my children. And so I've done it twice. Once I was shouting at Isla, and another time I think it was Jace. I didn't actually watch that clip back, I just deleted it, so I can't remember, but I think it was Jace. But on both occasions, trolls have literally revelled like a wild pack of dogs, like, oh my gosh, that's it, this is the end of the career, oh my god, I can't believe you've done that. Like, the comments are hilarious, trying to pick up the tiniest snowflake and turn it into the biggest snowball that they can just throw at me. Well, let me tell you, it is normal to discipline your child. Another thing is, you always have to explain yourself, because you always feel like you have to explain yourself. There's loads of assumptions saying that. And I know that I don't have to explain right now why, or justify why I told my children off, but just for context, I think it was in the caravan, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're in a caravan with Isla. And she was arguing with either Jace or Esme, I can't remember. She was arguing with Jace or Esme, and it was going on and on and on. And we're in this small space in the caravan. If I'm not right, and we were at home, then fair enough. But it would still have been a similar situation. But I'm pretty sure we were in a small space. And because usually when I vlog, I'll just go out the room if someone's arguing, or I'll tell them to go upstairs if you're going to argue, or whatever. But she was literally going for it with one of them. And I was like, stop it now, I need to vlog this section because I can't remember what we were doing, we were going out. And they were like, all right, sorry. And then I'd start vlogging, and then she'd go, but anyway, and then they'd start the argument again, and it went on like 3 or 4 times. And then in the end, I was like, Ida, stop, I cannot film this clip, or I said something along those lines. And it got left in the vlog, Chris left it in by accident. And it was like, oh my gosh, Isla did nothing. She was just asking for your attention. No, she wasn't asking for my attention. She'd been told multiple times to stop arguing, and she hadn't. It is no different than if I was working on a Zoom call from home, or I was on an important meeting on the phone. I'd still shout at my children if they were arguing when I was doing work, which is what I was trying to do. Film something for content to explain what we were doing before we left the house or caravan, wherever we were. It's not a big deal. With Jace one was more recently, so I know this one. We were in Care 4, Chris was on a Zoom meeting, so he wasn't with me, and I had the 3 younger ones, so I had Aurora sat in the seat part of the trolley and Jace and Mila in the actual trolley. I prefer them all to be in the trolley just because when there's 3 of them, I like to see where they are. I don't like them wandering off or anything like that whilst I'm trying to do shopping. I was trying to pick out a birthday cake for Esme as well as film. Jace and Mila kept standing in the trolley and holding the sides and shaking it so that it was shaking the whole trolley, which was making Aurora topple to the side. So I kept saying, stop doing that, Jace, stop doing that. And then I think Mila kept doing it and Jace had stopped. So he kept saying, Mum, Mila's doing it. And I said, Mila, stop it. And then I'd start filming again and say, Mum, she's doing the trolley again. I said, Mila, stop it. Stop shaking the trolley. Tried to film again. And in the end, I just said to Jace, just leave her, just let her do it for 1 second. I'm holding Aurora with my hand, so I had hold of Aurora here, and I started filming again. And he went, Mum, and he was about to tell me that she was still shaking the trolley for like the 5th time. So I said, Jace, just, I don't even know what I said because I deleted the clip, but I shouted at him, Jace, stop it, or Jace, I don't care, or something like that. So what? Like, big deal. You wouldn't believe the massive snowball that they tried to make out of me. Like, the things that were saying on my oh my gosh, she's shown her true colours. Wow, yeah, I showed my true colours because I told my child off for not listening. Wow, yeah, that's my true colours really been shown. Like, are you people... My true colours are not being shown because I don't film myself shouting at my children or telling my children off. Like, one of my children's been naughty, so I'm going to be like, just wait a minute while I go grab a camera and film you doing that so that I can show my true colours on a daily basis. Like, are you people stupid? This video, are you sure you're in the right mood? Because you have to be like fiery to answer these. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in the right mood, I'm calm. Whoo! An assumption saying your UK house bailiffs. Somebody called Laura, I won't say your full name, don't worry. But your UK house bailiffs, what does that mean? Are you trying to insinuate that our UK house is taken by bailiffs? Don't be so ridiculous. If that's going around, if that's a thing, if that's what you and your cronies are talking about, or that's what you've heard some cronies talking about, you're going to be embarrassed. Because I assure you, our house in the UK is not taken over by bailiffs, and when we continue to go back there in August, in November, in December, next year, if we decide to move back to the UK, we're going to be in that house. Like, please tell me that's not what's going around. That we can't afford our house in the UK, so we've moved to Dubai, and now the bailiffs are our UK house. Is that a thing? Please tell me it's not, because that is just ridiculous. Like, we've not moved to Dubai because we're struggling with money. Moving to Dubai costs a heck of a lot of money, like I just said previously. I can't cope, I have to go tell Chris. If that's what's going around, no. Okay, last one, because even though this was only assumed once in this little thing, I have seen this pop up a few times over the last 6 years. So I thought I'd just quickly react to it. Oh! No way! I'm only joking. Isabel, I can't remember how it's worded in this, but it's insinuating that Isabel takes care of the children in more of a parental way than a sister way. And if that's not what it was meant in this one, then I know that has been assumed in the past. So I did just want to bring it up. So number one, Isabel is a very, very special person, and I don't say that lightly. Anybody that meets Isabel loves her instantly. And I know that people are probably thinking it's your daughter, you're biased. I know lots of people are thinking that, but I genuinely mean it. Like, you can't meet Isabel and not think, wow, what an incredible person. Whether you're 70 or whether you're 17 or 7, you are going to love Isabel when you meet her. Like, she's genuinely such a special person. And I know now that I've said this, Isabel's going to be my favourite, right? Isabel's my favourite child. I treat her better than everyone else. I'm just joking. But she is genuinely an amazing person. She is so wise beyond her years. And so many times I've said that over the years. Like, because even as a 10-year-old, an adult can sit and have a proper intellectual, deep conversation with Isabel. One of Isabel's favourite things to do is go to family friends. Like we've got like five sets of close family friends. And Isabel's favourite things to do is go to the house or them come to our house, because she sits with it's actually usually the man, the dad, the man, the male, or the woman, but she does deep, she likes to get deep, she likes to chat deep. And the older you are, the better. She likes really meaningful, deep chats, does Isabel. She's such an amazing person. I'm going off on a rangent here, so this is nothing to do with the assumption, so I apologise. But she is very hands-on as well with her siblings. She's not one of those teenagers that pushes them away or sees them as a hindrance in any way, shape or form. In fact, she's very open. And I know that some of you guys that are watching this have met Isabel. She's said this to you, that she's got friends with younger siblings that are like, oh, they're so annoying, get out of my room, or oh, they're just annoying me today, I hate them. And she always says she always feels bad, because she does not feel like that at all about her younger siblings, any of them. So she does have a very deep, close connection with all of her siblings, especially Jace. She does have a very, very big soft spot for Jace. They love each other so much. But that is as far as it goes. Like, that's as far as it goes. Like, she's an amazing sister. She's not a parent, and she doesn't treat the children like she's a parent. She never, ever gets up through the night with them, baths them. In fact, that's a lie. There has been occasion where she said, do you want to just jump in the shower with me? Or when we've been for a beach day, she's done it recently here actually, when we had a beach day here and I'm just jumping in the shower and I'm like, pass me Aurora so I can put Aurora in. She's like, do you want me to take not Esme. Do you want me to take Mila or Jace in with me? And she'll just happily do that. But generally, she doesn't get up through the night with them if they're ill. She doesn't clean them when they've been ill. She doesn't brush their teeth or their hair or their face on a morning. She doesn't feed them breakfast, lunch or dinner. She doesn't do any type of homeschooling with them. She will play with them, but that's normal. She's the sibling. She will hold their hand sometimes when we're out and about, but that's normal. She's a sibling. Out in a shopping mall, for example, and I'm filming, I'll be like, can somebody just hold one of the kids? I have to be able to see my children. Like, I hate it when like one of them walking behind. Like, if I'm vlogging and Mila is behind me, I'll be looking around, or I'll be like, I generally say to one of the older 3 girls, if I'm vlogging and I'm on my own with the little ones, can someone hold Jace or Mila's hand please while I'm vlogging? So yeah, it's normal for you to see them holding a hand. That doesn't mean they're a parent though. I feel like just because you see them interacting together, because obviously I'm vlogging, so that's what I'm vlogging, them interacting, you assume that she maybe does more. But Isabel's duties just do extend to just normal sibling duties. Like, she doesn't do more than what I'd class as a normal sibling would do for their younger siblings. So I never really understood when people say, oh, you know, you're just having more children to pass off to your older ones. Like, what are you expecting that Isabel does that a normal sibling wouldn't do? She doesn't read stories before bed. She doesn't do any, like, parental duties. She doesn't do anything like that. She just plays with them every now and again, and they'll maybe hold their hand in a shopping mall. Like, I don't understand why that makes Isabel be a parent. And I think I'm going to end it there. There is literally, I've just had a quick look, and there's 21 more pages that I screenshot. I just screenshot loads of them, and I've just been flicking back and forth looking for them. But I was like, how many more is there to go? And I just counted literally over 20 more whole pages full of assumptions. So I think I'm going to end it there. But I did just want to say, before I did end it, that there were so many today, so many lovely assumptions that were said in such a gorgeous and kind way about us, our move, my mood and how I come across on vlogs, our family, what we do for them. Oh no, there was one that I wanted to answer. There was one, it was about Jason schooling. One second, I have to find it. Let's just come and said, Mom, I'm just editing a video.
I'm not a crazy person, Mother.
Is this okay to leave in? Show me.
Can I leave that in?
I'll just end up getting loads of hate for it. Oh my
Why?
God, you're such a bad mom. No, don't show them. I'll have to go watch a video to see it.
Okay, go watch the video to see it. Like, you know,
Look at my face, look at...
It's funny! It's funny! It's funny. And I couldn't have on a screen. It's funny. Can I?
Well, no, whatever.
Yay!
I'm only going to get hate for it.
Leave
I was like, oh, you're such a bad mum. Whatever, leave him. Right, there was one about Jace, just before I say goodbye. There was one about Jace. I can't find it. I definitely screenshot it, but I read it this morning and I was just like, It was, you won't let Jace go to nursery just because it suits your lifestyle. Or something like that. Like something like, I won't let Jace go to nursery because then we won't be able to travel. Something along those lines. Really want to give this a really long answer because I want to go into detail, but I'm not going to because that's probably for another video. I don't like the education system. I don't like the UK education system at all. I'm not going to go into why because it will be so long, but it's not just one reason. There's multiple reasons as to why I don't want my children in that setting, okay? So it's not just like, oh, well, you've not really researched it. I'm going from experience. I'm not just guessing these things. I'm not just changing my mind. I'm going from my own personal experience and what I personally know of school. It's not something I've read online. My younger 3 children went to school. I don't want my children in that setting. I don't want them to be. And I don't feel like they need to be. And I, most importantly, don't feel like that's what's best for them. I can teach my children better at home. I don't care what anyone says. My children learn more at home. Whether you think we spend all day sat at the beach or going to the pool, that's your opinion and that's all that is. It's not a fact, it's an opinion. I know what my children do and I know that they are learning so much more at home with me. They're happier, they're more confident, they're growing in areas that they thrive in, they're able to explore areas that they're interested in, and they're able to do things that keep them happy and keep them engaged. They're not subject to bullying, they're not subject to holding their bladder if they're desperate to go to the loo, they're not subject to being robots and looking exactly the same as everybody else. They're not, they're doing amazingly at home with me. Why? Because, why is it a negative thing to travel the world and explore whilst teaching your children? Like, why would that be negative? So many, millions, and I know, I genuinely, I don't know millions of people, but I know that so many people are choosing this way of life, where they're realising school is not everything it's made out to be. And I'm not saying nobody fits into school, I know so many do. I know so many thrive in school. But not everyone, and that's okay. And for those children that don't thrive in school, to be taken out, to be shown the world, to explore different places whilst learning is not a negative thing. Sorry, I just came in to show my swimming costume. My children are not suffering for us travelling or going on a van trip or coming to move to Dubai. My children are not suffering because we're doing that. And I know that lots of you guys also, I know that the trolls narrative is what they're learning, what's the point in going to Dubai when all you do is go to the pool and the mall? Well, even if all I did was go to the pool and go to the mall, they're still learning from that. There's still so many positives that they're learning from that. Just a couple are just popping into my head. There's so many more, but learning about money and about budgeting and about math, and if you've got this amount of money and you spend that, how much have you got left? Socialising, interacting with people of different ages. And another thing as well, they need to be with only children their age. Who said? Because when you go to work and you've got a job, you're not only interacting, not everyone in your office is 32, are they? So why are you making out like it's some sort of negative thing that they're acting with different aged children? As long as they are interacting with children around their age, interested in the same types of things and, you know, have things in common. Your children don't need to both be 5 to be able to thrive in a relationship, a friendship. You don't need to both be 5. There's so many different positives. Socialising and confidence building and social skills, and I'm repeating myself, but when I feel really passionate about something, I mumble my words and I know that's what I'm doing. But it's not a negative thing, even if we only came to Dubai and we only went to the pool or the mall. That doesn't mean well, what are you doing? What are you doing on a daily basis at home in England with your children? What are you doing? Like, much more than that? Like, I swear some people, like, your days are so boring, your vlogs are so boring, all you do is go to the mall. I'm sorry, what do you spend your day doing? Because from what I can see, it's just sat at home watching my vlogs to moan about them. Who's living the boring life? It's not me. It's not me. So, number one, even if we were sat at home in the UK, I still, because we couldn't afford anything, we couldn't afford it. We lived in a flat. We lived in a flat in the UK because that's all we could afford. We were happy in our little flat. I still wouldn't send Jace to school. I still wouldn't send him to school. I don't like the education system in the UK. I don't like it. I wouldn't send him there. I don't agree with it, and I don't feel like that's what's best for my child. Not yours, mine. I don't agree with it, and I don't feel like that's what's best for my child. So no, we don't only keep Jace at home so that he can fit in with our schedule, because even if we didn't have this schedule, I still wouldn't put him in a school. The only way that Jace will ever go to a school is if he comes to me and says, I want to try it out. I want to just try it. Fine, you go ahead and you try it. And I wouldn't even be negative to him about it. I'd be like, you might have been. In fact, we've even said it like multiple times to Isla and stuff whilst we've been here in Dubai. Do you want to try out school? You know, you might make some more friends and blah blah blah. They don't want to. They just don't want to. And I know that some people say, yeah, but you've never given Jace the option. You've never let him. He doesn't know what he's missing. He doesn't know what it's like. Yeah, you're right. He hasn't been given that option, and I'm not going to force that option on him. He doesn't want to. Jace, do you want to try out school? Here's what you do. You go into a classroom, you have a teacher, and she teaches you lots of fun things, and there's lots of the children there, and sometimes you get to paint, and sometimes you have to sit and do maths, and then you come home. No, I don't want to do that. Done. Okay. I've told him what, I'm not going to force him though. I spent 2 years forcing Isla into nursery when she was 2 years old. 2 years she cried at the door, and I felt like that's what I had to do because that's what was right. That's what I needed to do. So that's what I did. And I literally feel sick to my stomach that I did that. Like it's one of my regrets as a parent, and I don't have many regrets as a parent, but that is one of them, is forcing Isla to go to a nursery she didn't feel comfortable and didn't want to go to. And I didn't even really want her to go to, but I did because I thought that's what we needed to do. And if I'd made her go to this nursery, then maybe she wouldn't struggle so much when she had to start reception. So yes, it is extremely fortunate that my life choices fit in with our life that we live at the moment, but I don't deprive my children of an education so that I can travel at all. And so many parents are on my way of thinking with this topic. So many, and I understand that so many are still on the whole opposite. Like, no, children can only learn in school. But just there's no need to like argue or be disrespectful. If you like school for your child, then that's absolutely fine. You go ahead and put your child in school. But if I don't, and I have a different opinion, or the many other parents that have different opinions, then that's okay too. It doesn't always come down to you're neglecting your child. And I think I'm gonna end that there because this is so long. Look at the same hair. This is such a long video, and it's gone on way too long. But I hope you all enjoyed it. If you guys did, then I think I might do, whenever I say this, you always get like the other person that goes, no, not interested in part 2. But I think I might do a, like, get on ready with me or get ready for bed, doing a Q&A if you guys did enjoy this type of content. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next Monday for another video. Bye guys!
Wow, some sensationally interesting points there by Sarah Ingham. Let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.